Holy crap. I am live. It is fucking freezing. I live on the fucking second floor. This fucking apartment's cold. Man, it's cold. But the good news, I think, is we only got we didn't get a foot of snow. We got less than that. So tomorrow I have the joy of shoveling my car out of this fucking snow. Anyway, it's Sunday, January 25th. And I think Calci has a new bet. You can go on Calci and trade an economically significant contract on whether or not federal agents will kill an American citizen this week. It's pretty, looking at this last incident, this guy Petty. I don't even know how the fuck you couldn't write a script like this. This is crazy. And now it's somebody else's problem. And now you're going to realize that everybody that you look to online for leadership they're going to be, they're going to be talking about something else. They're going to be talking about anything else other than this. And you aren't going to do shit, right? You're going to look at this and go, that's somebody else's problem. And who could blame you? Because nobody wants to get shot in the face. Nobody wants to get shot in the face. What the fuck? I don't even look trying to understand what the fuck I even wrote. I just wrote some of this shit. All right. So as I was talking about that guy, let's start with the official statement.
He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Okay, so that's the official statement. The official statement is he was a terrorist. He was a terrorist. Well, we have video of this guy. He was a registered nurse at the Veterans Administration, and here he is administering last rites.
Is this your domestic terrorist, Mega?
Terrence Lee Randolph, March 30th, 1947, December 10th, 2024. Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
There's your domestic terrorist, everybody. So you will notice the National Rifle Association won't say shit. All the Second Amendment groups won't say shit. Everyone, the boomers with their AR-15s and their Corvettes or whatever the fuck, nobody's going to do anything. They're all going to be super quiet and they're going to bootlick this like they bootlick the fact that they're basically bootlickers. You're not going to fight these people. You are not going to go up against them. You're not going to Second Amendment them. That's all bullshit. This is what it's going to look like if you try. They're going to take your gun off you. They're going to beat you down, and then they're going to shoot you 9 times. You can't say it's George Floyd the crackhead. You can't say it's, anything like that. And now you understand that we are really all Palestinians. You may not give a shit about Palestine, but Palestine gives a shit about you, in the sense that this is going to continue. It's only going to get worse. The first guy got a GoFundMe. right? And now this guy, I don't know what they're going to get. They're going to put literally a bounty on your fucking head. None of the politicians are going to talk about this. Nobody will. Everyone's going to go, oh shit, I got to talk about something else. That's somebody else's problem. And so, that is the way it's going to be. So the way you solve this, right? You're not going to vote your way out of it. You're not going to shoot your way out of it. There's only one fucking way out of this, is to make them starving and homeless. That's it. There's no other choice. And as much as we'd all like that to happen next week, it's probably going to take longer than that. It's probably going to take longer than that. But yeah, that guy, Mr. Pretty, is just another casualty in the real war, which is the war against central banking. Whether it looks like that or it doesn't look like that, all of this flows from the fact that there's a fucking money printer, and the people who pay their salaries and their fucking pensions and who provide the courts and the prisons and et cetera, do so with fiat currency. And until that dies, there's no brakes on this fucking train. Chances are nothing's going to happen to you, right? If you're smart, you see something going down, you just fucking go the other way. But this isn't going to stop, and no one's going to make it stop. And I realize everybody's going to make content. And one of the lucky things about me is I don't have to make content that often. As soon as shit happens, I don't give a fuck. I'll do a show on Sunday or Monday and whatever. You may have heard 20 people talk about this already, and you don't want to hear what I have to say. And that's fine. But when you have to produce content, you end up doing stupid stuff. Like, here's this guy. I've shown this guy before. I got 3 videos of him. They're relatively short, but even smart people will end up saying stupid shit. And whether it's deliberate or whether they just got to put out content, I don't know. But here's our buddy John Kiriakou.
See, this is the thing too about the Israelis. If they want to kill you, they won't like just do a close-in hit. They'll blow up the entire city block where you live. They'll kill 1,000 people just to get you, and they don't care. And then they say, "What are you going to do about it? You're going to go to the International Court of Justice?"
Do they really do this?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, all right. So Kiriakou, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about there. And he has some authority because he used to be a spook, right? Well, here he is talking about what's called access agents. So, he sets himself up as an authority. Listen, here's how the Israelis really work. And then he says this, the next part.
If you're an Israeli intelligence officer and you want tightly, closely held information that somebody like Bill Clinton has, or Bill Gates, or Alan Dershowitz, or Prince Andrew, you're not going to recruit any of those people because they don't have traditional vulnerabilities that a CIA officer would be trained to look for, like a need for money, for example, or hatred of your government, or your wife is sick and she needs cancer treatment that's not available in your country. None of those work in a case like this.
Right.
So you're not going to recruit Bill Clinton. You're not going to recruit Bill Gates. What are you going to do? Give Bill Gates $1,000 a month to answer your classified questions? Mm-hmm. Ridiculous. So you do the next best thing and you recruit the guy who has access to them. And you set him up in this beautiful mansion. You wire the house for video and audio. You give him plenty of money, so he hires this staff. You bring in young girls, underage girls, and you don't necessarily have to.
All right. So the point is, if you want sensitive information that's not easy to get, you need an access agent, right? That's what he's saying. You can't offer these guys $1,000 a month. And by the way, they get paid a lot more than that. They get paid $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month. But that aside, and those guys always want money. In the latest kerfuffle with Iran. Here's Kiriakou again, and now he's going to contradict exactly what he just said.
I think the Israelis are heavily involved in Iran at the moment. I'll tell you why, for a couple of reasons, more than a couple. Number one, in the so-called 12-day war that we saw last year, the Israelis were absolutely masterful in the way they went after the Iranian leadership. What they did was they focused on recruiting Afghan refugees. Iran was home to more than 2 million Afghan refugees. And as essentially illegal aliens, they could not avail themselves of medical care, the welfare system. They're starving, right? They only eat if they can beg for enough to buy food. And so the Israelis went to these people very discreetly and said, hey, we'll give you $200 a month if you tell us where the generals live, in which apartments do the generals live, where do the nuclear scientists live. The Israelis killed the top 12 generals across the entire Iranian military and killed almost every Iranian nuclear scientist. Because what they were able to do was to recruit these Afghans to not just tell them where they were living, where the generals and the scientists were living, but what their cell phone numbers were. And so the Israelis were able to geolocate the cell phones, and then that's where you fire the missile. They killed all of them. And then after the Iranians finally realized it's the cell phones, they ordered that no senior military officials and no scientists could carry cell phones. But it never dawned on them to tell the bodyguards not to carry cell phones. And so the Israelis started rocketing the bodyguards and just killed everyone.
Okay, so they tracked you with they tracked these guys with their cell phones, and that's how they killed them. However, he just said if you want sensitive information, you got to go to people who have access to sensitive information. So who has access to Iranian generals? Who has access to the phone numbers to Iranian generals? I don't think it's a bunch of homeless Afghan dudes, right? And don't get me wrong, a homeless Afghan will do probably anything for $200. But people like that don't have the ability to find out, where the generals live. How the fuck would they know? I don't know what Iran looks like. I don't know what Tehran looks like. But I don't think that they have homeless people wandering around the streets like the way we do in America. And I don't think they have homeless people wandering around the areas where generals and nuclear scientists live. I don't think there's any homeless there. So that doesn't make sense. And I'm thinking, was Kiriakou just like, is he just winging it? He's like, hey, you got to say something. And so that's what he comes up with. Or what? I don't know. You know what I mean? Or does he sit there and go, shit, I got to come up with something? They're not going to know any better. But I went to the comment section and how would a bunch of homeless Afghans know the telephone numbers to the top nuclear scientists in Iran? How would they have access? So even smart people who, for what he does, he tells a reasonable amount of truths. They can either say stupid shit on purpose or just because they just need to produce content. And, people just, if you like that guy, you think, well, he tells the truth or that's a good source of information. You don't stop and question, hey, wait a minute. Last week he said this week he's saying that. It doesn't add up. Even smart people say stupid shit. Even smart people say stupid shit. But ultimately, the dramatic firing rockets at people and shooting you 9 times after disarming you, that stuff is not the way most of it's going to happen. Obviously, it grabs everyone's attention. It's dramatic. It's scary. But this is what the future is going to look like, and this is going to be more effective in the long run than shooting you dead.
The first German journalist.
I'm the first German journalist, German citizen, European citizen journalist who's being sanctioned, who's living in Europe. That's a president case. So the sanctions grant you a certain amount of money for humanitarian reasons to be able to survive. I was granted 506 euros that I'm allowed to use from my frozen account per month. And I'm living in Berlin, where the average rent is 1,500 euros, maybe. And you're not able to survive his 506 euros in a month with 2 children and wife. So now what happened is that the bank, my bank, froze even that amount of money. So I have right now no access to no money. I can't buy food for my children, medicine for me, for myself, for my children, nothing.
So that's going to be, an even better example, because they can keep that guy on the edge of starvation and homelessness, along with his wife and kids, for as long as they want. And everyone will see that, and you will keep your fucking mouth shut, and you will do what you are told to do. All right? They don't need to build a gulag. They don't need to ship you off on a train, to the prison camp. They can just shut off your bank account. And then you will be starving and homeless with your children. And once people see that, they never going against the fucking regime, and the bootlicking will intensify. The bootlicking will intensify until morale improves. And that's Europe. And listen, I think if you get anything from understanding Bitcoin, you have to understand that there's no good guys. There's no fucking good guys. I've said it before. America's going to wipe out all these little miniature criminal organizations, governments. They're going to do it with stable coins, and none of them are any good. Like they're all bad. In World War II, Germany was bad, and the communists were also bad. At the same time, both of them bad, and that's true today. Just as true today as it was back then. Here's a video I didn't see earlier, but Mr. Maduro doing whatever, Venezuelan ops.
Ha llegado la hora de la recuperación económica y necesitamos
So that was shortly before the invasion. Supposedly, he was giving a speech, and something blew up. And you notice nobody flinched. Like you're there for a political rally, and a bomb goes off, and nobody, even Maduro, didn't flinch. He just went like this. And the one bodyguard, like the video showed, he's laughing at. Nobody flinched. They held up their little bulletproof shields, but nobody flinched that there was a bomb detonated during a Maduro speech. There are no fucking good guys. There are no good guys. And the quicker you come to that conclusion, the better off you're going to be. The better off you're going to be. My friend, all our friends, everyone's friend, the top guy, I guess those uppercuts he received in the ring a couple of weeks ago have really rattled his brain, because he said the quiet part out loud.
I have tech teams in Israel. I have things going on, and I have tech teams in Israel. I have tech teams in Israel.
They just cannot help the fact that they are total and complete fuck-ups. But here's the thing. The people that run the show can be wrong. They can fail time and time again, because they have endless fucking resources. They have endless resources, endless money, and an endless army of people willing to do whatever the fuck they want. Whatever they're told to do. Shut off your bank account, kick in your door, shoot you in the face. It doesn't matter what it is. And you're not going to stand up to this. You're not going to, you just aren't. Nobody's going to do that. And then in the meantime, the rest of our other second favorite influencer, they follow the script, and this is whoever put this video together. I'm very happy for, because the bit of video at the bottom, it's one of those split screen things. The bit of video at the bottom, I remember seeing it on Twitter years ago, and I always wished I would have saved it, but now somebody else, all this stuff is saved somewhere, and because all these motherfuckers are just a bag of fucking snakes, somebody released this.
Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile, but you're not ready for that conversation. All of his victims, 14 to 17. That's not pedophilia. People say that's normalizing pedophilia. No, that's defining pedophilia.
So there he is. There's Nick Fuentes and his cat boyfriend that he imported from Australia during COVID, I think it was. So there was more video than that, but that's close enough. You could see, the two lovers out for a stroll, and that's and now what script did they write for him? The script is, oh come on, she's 14. Look at her tits, man. Come on, bro. 14. That's almost 2 years into puberty. So yeah, it's they gotta follow the script. Virgil Doc, what do the other countries think about the super secret weapons? I don't know. I think the guys that have to do like bodyguard work or whatever the local special forces dudes that are close to the local leader, they're probably paying attention. I had the video. It doesn't if they're even thinking about it. Like I got my hair cut by this Dominican dude, Dominican barbershop. That guy's on steroids. He's like he's completely bald and he looks like a fucking a comic book superhero. Anyway, Dominican dude, and I'm like the white guy walked in the barbershop, blah 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 blah. And we were talking about Maduro, and he said, "Oh, Cuba's next." And so the thing that fucking China just delivered 30,000 pounds of fucking rice to Cuba because the Cubans are starving again. So China's giving them a bunch of extra rice that they have left over, and I'm thinking to myself, how much of that rice is being literally sold right out the back of the fucking warehouse by it's not Castro anymore who runs Cuba, but all of those guys. If things in Cuba are as bad as we think they are, and they are as bad as we think they are, they're probably worse. These guys are probably not thinking of space lasers. They're probably GOI beams. They're probably planning on learning enough English so that they can quickly sell out the other guys in their unit, so that they can make a fucking deal with whoever shows up. And not be on the receiving end of the super weapons. But I think those super weapons are, they're of limited value anyway. At the end of the day, most of the shit's going to be conventional. That particular operation was done with one thing in mind. And that is this. The U.S. Treasury confirms that all seized Bitcoin will join the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I postulated this last week, that the reality is we probably went there for the Bitcoin. Venezuela apparently really does have 600,000 Bitcoins. If we have seized it, and it's entirely possible we have, they just haven't announced it yet, then we're keeping it. And that puts the U.S. federal government at roughly 875,000 Bitcoins, which is the largest pile of Bitcoin anywhere, even bigger than BlackRock and even bigger than this guy, who, God bless this greedy cocksucker, is going to do a lot for us in the long run, right? The fact that that his greed fucking outruns his fear of the feds is exactly what we need. We need that stuff. What's going to happen is that's going to fracture. At the top, it's going to fracture because everybody bends the knee. If you recall, Vanguard, the largest mutual fund on God's green earth, said they would never trade Bitcoin. They wouldn't let their clients buy the Bitcoin ETF, and they didn't want anything to do with Bitcoin and blah, 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 blah. Their CEO got fired, got replaced by another guy. And now, not only does Vanguard allow you, the Vanguard customer, to purchase the Bitcoin ETF, but Vanguard itself bought $505 million worth of Bitcoin treasury company, MSTR. That's this guy, that's Saylor's company, for the first time, right? So they're playing a little game where they're trying to get exposure to Bitcoin without bending the knee. But this fig leaf, you see it for what it is. It is an absolute fig leaf. So every knee shall bend, every knee shall fucking bend, and all this hysterical shit about Wall Street's going to gobble it up and Wall Street's going to do this and that. Man, you don't know what's coming, but you do not know what is coming. And to be honest, I don't really know myself, but it's going to be good for Bitcoin and bad for them. At the end of the day, they're going to have to compete, and it's not going to go well for them. It's not going to go well for them. And places like this, Paris, forced to cancel all crypto events due to massive kidnapping threat. Like Paris didn't have enough problems. Like European tourism wasn't in enough danger, particularly in France. They can't even get the crypto dorks there, right? You're a crypto dork. You've got however many gazillion Bitcoins you have, and you think your magical supermodel girlfriend says, "Oh, take me to Paris," and you go to Paris and you get kidnapped, and they cut off your fingers, and you give them the keys to your Bitcoin. So that's, that happens a couple times, and then, it ain't never going to happen again. So if Paris is unsafe for crypto dorks, do you really have to worry about the U.S. military super weapons? You're going to have much more everyday concerns for your safety, which of course reminds you not to talk. Don't tell anyone how much Bitcoin you have. Like ever, don't ever tell them. What is this where I said? Oh yeah. But the politics of things. I pointed this out last week. Was the guy in Utah who said, "Can you bench 225?" 225 being the number like most. I don't know. Most men can't bench press 225. And I'm telling you, this is the thing. And the new crop after Donald Trump of politicians is probably going to be Gavin Newsom and the AOC. They're probably going to win. I don't think that J.D. Vance and the Curry Munch are going to get the White House. Well, what the hell? I don't know. They had Big Mike used to be in the White House, so they could have a Curry Munch next. But Newark Mayor Russ Baraka takes on one of New Jersey's most intense gyms. And so there he is. He's an old dude, and he's hanging out with some steroid heads, some roid rangers in a gym in Newark, showing that he really is fit and strong, and he can lead Newark from 100 murders a year all the way down to 96 murders a year, or whatever they celebrate when the murders are under 100 a year. But all these things are just going to continue on and on and on and on and on, and things that you thought were dead and gone will come back. It will come back. Japan restarts world's largest nuclear plant as Fukushima memories loom large. Nuclear is the future. Nuclear is the future. Nuclear is the future. And nuclear is the future. I don't know how much more obvious it can get. And if you can find a way to make that work for you, to take advantage of that in some way, somehow, do it. Because it is as sure. It is as sure as the sunrise, as sure as the sunrise. And what is this? In the meantime, we do have some good commentary. I like this commentary. I don't know who this guy is, Connor Boyack. Funny how follow the science never applies to the economics of the minimum wage, rent control, or money printing. No, they never follow the science that way. You can't do that. You cannot possibly insult the money printer. We will send ICE to come after you. What else do we got? What is this? Thomas Massey, probably the only congressman that, the only one left in Congress who still is America first. As the dollar's reserve currency status diminishes, so does our ability to tax the world by creating more money. When reserve status is lost, maintaining current spending levels and servicing the debt will be even more painful for Americans who will bear the full inflation tax. And he's quoting Peter Schiff, the gold bug, who doesn't own any gold himself, but he likes to sell it to people. Trump has it backwards. The U.S. doesn't subsidize the world. The world subsidizes the U.S. The dollar's reserve currency status allows us to live beyond our means. Soaring debt, tariffs, military threats jeopardize that status. When it's lost, economic collapse will follow. That's true. And you're going to want to be prepared. You're going to want to be prepared. Don't be like the people I work for who are retards, who are not prepared. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I had to start an LLC. I am now officially an LLC. And, you know, I told management, they said, oh, tell the company that pays your weekly payout. I did. The company that pays, you know, the company that actually pays us sent me back this. This is what they sent me. Okay, you would need to be sent a new enrollment link to update this. You would need to reach out to the logistics broker that you are contracting with and request to be sent a new enrollment link. After that, you would go to one more enrollment time. Make sure you fill out the EIN company information and sign the documents under your EIN. This is what has to be done in order for them to pay me as an LLC, not as an independent contractor. The company I work for, which is owned by a big international logistics outfit, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. These bosses don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know why they made us all become LLCs. I've got it done, you know, so I'm sure a lot of guys won't get it done because they don't know how and they're lazy, but they have this beautiful fucking scheme in mind that's going to help them out, help them and fuck us, but they can't even carry it out because they are completely fucking incompetent. They were just put in the right place, you know. They got lucky and they think that makes them a genius. They think that an accident of birth, putting them in a position of being the boss, is the same as an accomplishment. And it is not an accomplishment. It is not an accomplishment. In the meantime, this sentiment, more and more popular everywhere. So funny how the U.S. government desperately needs 25% of the $2,500 I made on a small creative project, but won't tax any of Jeff Bezos's $239.4 billion. Yes, it's true. That's the future is going to be all about us versus them economically, and they're going to try and make it about something else. They're going to try and spin your head around and make it about something else, but it is always going to be about that. It is always going to be about that. It's always going to be about that. In the meantime, let's take a break for joke. Let's take a humor break. Don't want to be constantly screaming. This joke, I love this fucking joke. I love this joke, and let me say it once more, God bless the Irish.
It isn't my joke, right? I'd make no claims for having written this. If you send it to your friends, pass it on. Classic joke, it turns up, people have been telling it for years, but I don't think over here as much, is man walking down the street in Belfast at the height of the Troubles, gets dragged into an alleyway. Someone puts a gun to his head and the voice behind him goes, "Are you Catholic or Protestant?" Man, thinking quickly, goes, "Neither, I'm Jewish." Voice behind him goes, "Wow, I must be the luckiest Arab in Belfast." Take it, go.
That's fucking gold. That is fucking gold. That is gold. I never heard that before. That is fucking brilliant. That is 100% brilliant. I love that fucking joke. I love that joke. A lot of people, you know, the younger people won't get it because they don't know what the troubles in Ireland were, and they don't know the history of the IRA and blah, 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 blah. But if you were alive during the Cold War, the IRA and their Catholic versus Protestants was a very real thing for a while. And that's we need to have a laugh like that because and there's too much Too much going on. Here's a group of clowns you'll be familiar with. And once again, what's really interesting about this video is the amazingly well-placed camera. This is just another one of those, like the one with the Spanish ETA terrorists blew up the Francisco Franco's, whatever, the Prime Minister of Spain's successor. They just happened to have the camera in the right place at the right time as the car bomb went off. Remember how lucky that camera placement was? There's been other super lucky camera placements throughout history. This one, probably not so famous, but a little bit more timely because it happened just, I think, 1 or 2 days ago.
All of you people are...
So there they are once again. Patriot Front out for a walk with their flags. It's amazing they just happen to catch the in the background the Washington Monument. That was the one. The other people walking with their cell phones, getting a crummy, bouncy video, were not the lucky cameramen. The lucky cameramen just happened to be at the right place at the right time for them all to walk by and show the length of the line and that the Washington Monument behind it. And everybody falls for that shit. Everybody falls for that shit. Everybody falls for that shit. Nobody wants to notice what's obvious. The people in charge, this is another influencer slash dude that's in charge, or was in charge. It's fucking crazy. Like, I don't understand. I can't believe the choices they make. They make the most, well, when everything is rigged so that you can't fucking lose, I guess you can make as many stupid choices in a row as you can make and you still get promoted. And this guy got promoted. He was head of he was what? Second, number 2 in command of the FBI?
This is Karate Man. Double leg. The jump kick. The side kick. The roundhouse. The tie kick. Body.
Are we live? Dan Bongino on coke. So, like, are there any one of them that could piss in a cup and pass the fucking test? And any fucking one of them, could they ever piss in a fucking cup and come back with a clean drug test? I'm saying the answer is no. I'm saying the answer is no. But that guy was really like the MAGA leader, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And he had to leave the FBI right after they brought him back. And my guess is that his coke problem is so bad, not just what you saw there on that clip, but he's probably so much of a coke fucking junkie that even the FBI is like, you can't go snorting lines at your desk at 2 PM, Danny. You just can't do that. Mr. Bongino, it's we've written a letter, your letter of resignation. You just sign it and get the fuck out of here. I'm almost certain that happened. I am almost certain that happened because that is, how that ever went out. Like, I sit here and I think to myself, I think about this show. Admittedly, I got, nine fucking subscribers, but I do sometimes think like, hey, maybe I can do something different or make it look different or whatever. That actually crosses my mind on occasion, but I never think I should do an 8-ball. I've never done it, but I've never done coke. But I never thought I should do an 8-ball before I fucking click go live. So fucking bad. And that people like that, I think it was like the number 2 guy at FBI, right? They brought him back and then they got rid of him again. So, but it's all fucking, it's all fake and gay, as they say. It's all fake and gay, and here's in real time. This is all falling apart. Like I saw this. This was fucking like I swear. I look at this stuff and I go, you couldn't fucking make it up. You couldn't make it up. And here's our friends with Charlie Kirk's widow.
Hey, Erica. Oh my God, not you again. What's this movie you filmed in 2010? November Renaissance. You were the main character, Evelyn Mathis, and it was all about corporate espionage, assassins, nanotechnology used to control people's minds to help financial institutions stay in power.
That movie was never released.
We know, but why do most of the people who worked on this set have connections to Fort Huachuca, the base that is a major hub for intelligence for the military? And you were seen there 2 days before Charlie was, and you claim to not know anything about it, even though you lived right by it for many years and your mom worked there.
Stop.
In the world of tomorrow, the mind has become a hard drive linked to the internet, and the once present divide between technology and humanity has become next to non-existent. Sounds like Neuralink. I heard that a lot of experiments are going on in Hawaii at a hospital next to a military base there, which is interesting because a lot of the migrants are being shipped there. But anyway, driving this world forward are the many emerging multinational corporations that have grown in power far beyond the control of world governments.
Stop.
In this reality, financial institutions vie for dominance through corporate black ops. These clandestine endeavors are carried out by figures known as proxies, cloak and dagger assets that are hired in secret to remove rivals from power or protect corporate capital from harm.
Bitcoin fixes this. So that's what they're thinking right now. That's what the CIA is thinking in their little Hollywood division. I don't know how bad that movie is, but it's got to be phenomenally bad. It's got to be like eye-poppingly, phenomenally bad. It's got to be maybe if somebody could get a copy of that and put that out on online, it would be hilarious. In the meantime, yeah, Bitcoin does fix this. And they, little by little, the concept of decentralization slipping into this to stay on the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm not going to play this whole thing. This whole thing's like a 3-minute clip. You just need you to understand that the idea of decentralized is starting to grow.
You better be careful, Charlie, says a TPUSA donor in a series of threatening messages right before he died. Now, Canazones revealed these texts on her show yesterday, but didn't tell us who sent them. But through the power of decentralized journalism, we have figured it out. Shout out to
Decentralized journalism, people who noticed other shit, and they send it to you. So that's that. And that is what's coming. What else do we have? A couple more things, and we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here because it's freezing and whatever. So it'll be an hour soon. Soon it will be an hour. Understand that I'm not kidding you when I say Kalshi is going to have a fucking bet line on whether or not ICE kills somebody this week, because this is the shit that 20-somethings are spending their entire paychecks on.
Will Trump say low IQ this week?
Let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. Yes!
So there you go. This stuff pops up all over the internet all the time, and it encourages kids to gamble away what few resources they have. You will own nothing, and you will be happy because you're waiting for your bet to come through. You're waiting for your 17-leg parlay on Kalshi to come through, which is never ever coming true through. In the meantime, you don't understand how early we are to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, 87K or something like that. And people, this is another example of someone who is extremely well educated in a very high position in a foreign government. He's talking about Goldilocks with Brian Armstrong. We call him Goldilocks because he's bald. And I want you to sit as you watch this. Remember, 17 years ago, you could get 5 Bitcoins for free by sending somebody an email, right? It used to be magic internet money. And here's what they're talking about now at the World Economic Forum.
Governor, you have to address this. Is the euro in danger from a Bitcoin standard?
No, I'm a bit skeptical, Brian. Sorry to say it about this idea of the Bitcoin standard. We left the gold standard, but the gold was only a technical mean. What is important is what you say, Bert, that monetary policy and money is part of sovereignty. And we live in democracies, and I think the public role is key. And if we lose that, really you lose a key function of democracy. That said, I always keep repeating that money, as long as it exists for centuries, has been a public-private partnership. You need a public anchor, whatever its form is. Remember, and silver and gold were sovereign assets, so it was on the public side. And then you had banknotes, and you will have CBDC. But anyway, the most important part of payments is in the private sphere, and this is the development of tokenized private money. But this tokenized private money must be regulated to inspire trust, confidence.
It's fascinating that you say that. Brian, you mentioned a complementary role that you could play.
So I think that crypto is very good for fiat currencies. It's very good. Bitcoin is like good as a check and balance on deficit spending, because when there is a lack of trust, or people, from like in a U.S. context, if people are worried about inflation, or maybe in places like Argentina or Turkey or Nigeria, they are going to flee to the thing that they believe is going to store value more. So I think in general it's going to be very complementary, and like you said, I think it comes down to trust. And so if fiat currencies can maintain trust and not have the money printer kind of debasing everybody, then they'll survive. But if countries that have bad behavior on that dimension, Bitcoin doesn't have a money printer. The supply is fixed, and people will go to it in times of uncertainty, kind of like they did with gold.
The guarantee for trust is independence on central bank side. And we have a core mandate, and we are accountable to that. But sorry to say that I trust more independent central banks with a democratic mandate than private issuers of Bitcoin, which have a very useful role. But
Bitcoin is the decentralized protocol. There's actually no issuer of it. So that's in the sense that central banks have independence. Bitcoin is even more independent. There's no country or company or individual who controls it in the world. And so anyway, I think it's a healthy competition, because if people can decide which one they trust more, and I think it's actually the greatest accountability mechanism on deficit spending.
Bill?
Surprisingly, Goldilocks made a couple of good points, but the French dude has no idea what he's talking about. Independent banks, the public-private partnership. It's essential to democracy. How is essentially a small group of people issuing the money essential to democracy, right? Everything is a cope, right? That's this guy's a wealthy dude. He doesn't live in a 1-bedroom apartment. He went to a nice school. He wears beautiful suits. He never had a callus in his life. He never sweat in the sun. He doesn't freeze in the fucking cold. He thinks he's a fucking genius who understands finance. The central banks are necessary. No, they're not. You are a creature of the central banks, so they're necessary for your existence. And Goldilocks, Brian Armstrong, who I have many criticisms of, he starts out saying crypto, and then he shifts gears to Bitcoin, right? He says, no, Bitcoin is a check on nation states running the money printer, using the same language I use. And then French guy says, well, I trust in the central banks, not some private issuer of Bitcoin. And Armstrong has to correct him and say, there is no issuer. Bitcoin is more decentralized than your banks. There is no issuer. There is no group that issues Bitcoin. So these super smart head of central banks, World Economic Forum geniuses don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're as dumb as my boss is, telling me I got to become an LLC in order to continue to get paid, and then not being able to follow through on their end of it, right? I made the adjustment like this. These people still can't figure out what to do. So they're going to crash. They're not really going to crash their whole business. Somebody's going to have to fix this because either their plan doesn't go through, and like in my case, it's perfect microcosm example. I have to make this change. That's what I'm told from up on high. I make that change, but they're not ready. They don't do all the steps necessary to keep it going. Now, if drivers don't get paid, boxes don't get delivered, and airplanes don't get fixed, and rich people don't fly. And we can't have that, right? So the fire is under, is under their ass now, not under mine. And that is, that is a micro version of what fucking French dude is talking about. They don't know what the fuck they're saying. They have no fucking clue. They were just fucking born lucky, and they've confused that with some sort of great accomplishment and some sort of profound understanding. They have neither. They have neither. And that, for you, creates an opportunity. Because I realize nobody's got $87,000 laying around in a paper bag in their fucking in their pantry. But where this is going to go, at all the crazy shit that I've ever said, and I'll point this out, all the crazy shit that I ever fucking said, eventually other people repeat. Eventually other people repeat. The dollar stays king until 2046, crushing Bitcoin's dreams of $13 trillion with IMF data. So wait, what? The dollar stays king until 2046? That means the dollar's dying and Bitcoin takes its place, right? That's, I don't know who this person is, but the idea that the dollar will not be the dollar forever is getting around, okay? It's leaked out. It has leaked out from the corners of the internet where Bitcoiners rant and rave, and they're saying the dollar's king. The king is going to die. The king will die. They say in 2046. They don't know when it's going to be. It could be 2036. It could be later on this year. I don't think it'll be later on this year, but it could be. So the writing is on the fucking wall. The question is, what do you do about it? Because, like I said, no one's coming to fucking save you. No one's coming to save you. And every now and then you'll watch somebody get shot and killed, and the White House will lie about it, and Congress will keep their mouth shut, and the Supreme Court won't say shit, and none of the political your political candidates will be lifting weights. Oh, look how much you can bench press. Watch me jog along the beach. Well, that dog and pony show is going on, and everyone's paying attention to that. That creates an opportunity for you. And in the meantime, the last video I have, this I thought was the wildest fucking one. It's a minute, 12 seconds. The Iranians, the mullahs, they're fucking trolling like crazy. This fucking video just popped up, and I'm like, these guys, well, they have balls, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah. And what he knows you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.
That shit is fucking wild to me. I don't know. Is that Netanyahu's favorite song or something like that? Who came up with that shit? I was like, that's fucking wild. But, Iran caught all the terrorists. They caught all the Mossad dudes. All of whom, I think, like I said, were either recruited in Albania or they are Albanian. They still got some stuff that they can shoot at Tel Aviv. So it's going to be super fucking interesting. It will continue to be super fucking interesting. Whether you're worried about, Erica Kirk's movie career as a secret agent. There's actually 2 movies now. There's 2 CIA movies she was in. There was another one, I don't fucking have it. Where she's talking about hardening the grid. She's like, we had to try to get money from Congress. She's like, we have to harden the grid. There are 5 threats. 1 is hackers, 2 is cyber. Wait a minute, that's the same fucking threat, you retard. She goes, 3 is whatever. And she goes like, 4 is natural disaster. So the sun is going to blow up. The sun's going to blow up. Give us more money, Congress. If the sun blows up, you won't have electricity. Honey, if the sun blows up, you're going to have much bigger fucking problems. You are going to have much, much bigger problems. But she did some goofy propaganda video, which is probably as bad or worse than her fucking her movie career. Lastly, keep this in mind. China used more than double the electricity of the U.S. in 2025. China Central Television reported this Saturday, citing data from the National Energy Administration. They are producing twice the electricity we are. And they are adding the equivalent of an entire grid, the entire American grid, every 18 months. The nuclear thing is a very, very big deal, and they will be putting the pedal to the metal to make this shit happen. It's long overdue, admittedly, but that's the thing you need to pay attention to that you can benefit from. Somehow, some way, I don't know, you figure that out. You do with this information what you will. But everything is fucking fake and gay. There's no brakes on this fucking train. No brakes on this fucking train. So be smart. Be smarter than you think. Then you think you can be. Think of what somebody smarter than you would do, and then do that. All right. With that, we are at 58 minutes and 49 seconds. I got to go out tomorrow and shovel snow and dig out my car. That's going to suck. And then it's going to stay frozen for like, I don't know, another 10 days where I am, or at least the next week. I don't care if it's frozen. I just really don't like the snow. The older I get, the less I like snow. In general, the less I like snow. Anyway, with that, Virgil Doc, Purple Heart. I know he will smash up the like button, but the rest of you who are probably busy just getting in from shoveling yourself out of wherever, cleaning your own driveway, make sure to smash up the like button. Make sure to smash it up. Anyway, Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, and everybody else going to watch in the coming week. Thanks a lot for stopping by, guys, and I'll see you next week.